everyone. Welcome to the Women Are Worthy show. Yes! We've been having some storm issues in the county that I live in. So Wi-Fi has been a problem. So I wasn't sure if, because y'all saw my post that we're having technical stuff going on. So we're going to do the show. The guest is on. So, let me get rid of, general housekeeping. Let me get that out the way. If you want to join our tribe, you must subscribe. I came up with that, y'all, myself. Pat me on the back. Well, anyway, so often people have their own businesses. They're not sure how to brand. They don't know what to do. So we want to talk to a wonderful lady. Her name is Miss Stephanie Davis. Let me tell y'all. Let me get some water, okay? Let me get some water. I'm getting the water because there isn't anything this lady hasn't done. She's an award-winning publicist, brand manager, the owner and creator of the Empower Media Group. Look, when I go on and on about this lady, I'm telling you, I get thirsty. And I mean thirsty in a good way because she's a woman who knows a lot about branding. But we also like to talk about the backstory. Whoever said you couldn't come back from a bad situation wasn't being honest. Stephanie Davis, she has the tenacity of a diamond. That's what I said, a diamond. The heart of a true leader and the favor of the higher power that allowed her to escape her life of abuse and led her to a successful life as an author, entrepreneur, and a philanthropist. I usually trip up on that word. And now she's a producer of one of the most anticipated awards weekend, 2021. It's going to be called the Black Media Honors. Now, lady, let me give you your roses now, okay? Not just, and it's so important that we do this while we're living, and you don't have to know someone so many years, but the Women Are Worthy show, we want to thank you. We're honored that you're going to be, you're a guest on our show. You're not really a guest. You're part of the family, girl. Just scratch out. You're part of the family.
Thank you.
We want to talk to you, chop it up with you, find out some things because we want to talk about the situations and we want people to understand we're all in the same book, just different chapters, and we can overcome anything. Right. So, ma'am, tell us a little bit about Miss Stephanie Davis.
Listen, Stephanie is, and I appreciate the wonderful intro. And let me first apologize firsthand because I'm a little under the weather. I just came back from up north and it was snowing and sleeting. So the weather just took a toll on me. But listen, I'm this girl from down the street. I don't see myself as, this what some people like to do. I'm very humble, I'm very modest, but I am someone that loves people. I love people. I love watching them win. I love seeing people tap into their purpose. I love seeing people embrace, their authenticity and who they are. And I love what I do. I love branding. I love being creative. I love what that means to me. And I love just in a whole overall sense, I love being able to put a smile on people's face and give back. One of the things that I remember telling God, I said, God, if you just create the platform for me, I promise that I'll be dedicated to give back, because sometimes we can be so selfish in our lives. Yes. And sometimes it's not intentional, but we can be that way, and that was a way that I didn't want to be. And so I asked God, I said, God, if you create this platform, if you extend the vision, I'm going to be fully committed into giving, and understanding and grasping the revelation of the concept of giving of yourself and of your purpose. So that's who Stephanie is. Stephanie loves kids. Stephanie loves to travel. She loves to shop. I'm regular,
Regular schmegler.
Yes.
Where up north are you from? I want to hear you say it.
So I'm from Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
I'm from Virginia, um, but my father lives in Massachusetts, in Springfield, Massachusetts, and my sister is in Boston. Um, and then we have family up in the Maryland area. And so right now they're experiencing, the snow and and I'm used to Atlanta weather, you know. So yeah, but that's where I'm from. I'm from Virginia.
Because when you Maryland, y'all have that little twang that
Ah,
I pick up, that little twang when y'all talk. So, Stephanie, so many people now are at home, right? Because we're going to go back to, again, this is a conversation, it's not an interview.
mhm.
So, my question is, so many people are starting companies because of COVID, and they have a company, a concept, but they're not sure about branding, because branding can be very confusing. You have so many people. So how does one brand, and how does one identify what kind of a brand that they are?
Listen, when I think of branding, and this is what I tell my clients, and just people that just may come and ask questions, branding is all of you stepping out of the house, right? And when you step out of the house, you want to make sure that you're A1. Your hair is done, from head to toe, because you want to be seen at your best. And so the same thing applies to branding. When you release that business, when you release that concept, launch that book, that new product, that new event, whatever it may be, you want to do it at your best. And so it's very important that it looks to par, that the aesthetic is looks great, and that everything is in alignment. There's so many elements to branding that some people think, oh, let me go do a photo shoot. Let me create a quick logo, with a couple of colors in it. But that's not branding. That's not even anybody can do that. Branding is about the way that you appear to your demographic and those that you are targeting. A lot of times we buy things and we gravitate to things on how they look, you know, and a company can be A1, but if they don't look to par, we're going to kind of question, the legitimacy of the business. And we're also going to question if they even have good quality in whatever it is that they're offering, just based upon how things look. And branding is not just about it. Aesthetic is just a part of it. It's also about your consistency, your consistency in your quality, your consistency in your level of service. And let me put a little pin cushion right there in that level of service piece, because that ties into branding. Our customer service and how we relate to our demographic, our clients, our customers is very important. There's something that I call, there's excellence, and then there's, what some see as black excellence. you know um I always say it's important for us to operate in excellence, but that does extend into your quality of service. Case in point, Publix. I will forever, unless they cut up and do something crazy, I will forever shop at Publix. I will. Why? Because of their consistency and their service level, the consistency and the quality of that service level. When I go in there, the stores are clean. When I go in there, I can find things. When I go in there, the pricing is right. And sometimes Publix can be a little higher than
Mhm.
other supermarkets, but because of what I get from Publix, I'm okay with that. You know,
And I agree with you when you're saying that, because like there's a certain store that I'll shop, or a certain Wi-Fi telephone carrier that I use. They're pretty pricey, but that customer service, I know
right?
I'm paying for customer service, but look, like certain like Target, or
Yes,
whatever. When you go Chick-fil-A, when I want to get, once in a blue moon, their fries or whatever, you get what you pay for sometimes. And if you
that's
have to
right.
pay extra, because I'm looking at it as They're paying their staff. They're putting more money out, shelling, educating their staff on customer service. Because you and I both know the product can be, I know for me, sometimes the product can be, but if the customer service, baby,
Right.
I'm there. And I know it should go hand in hand, but my thing is if I'm calling you and you're looking to rectify situations, I'm loyal to a fault when it comes to
Right.
products and services. So for me, I try to, because I hear that Black excellence and I don't fall for that Black excellence. I fall under excellence. That's what
Right.
I try to do because I don't want
Right.
to separate myself from white people and Black people. It's just excellence. And we sometimes have those issues that we talk about, like, oh my God, customer service in our community. We'll talk about that sometimes. But what I want to know, let me see, reputation. Hey, Miss Presley. Yeah, Miss Presley said reputation matters and it's linked to the brand. That is true. That is true. So, Miss Extraordinaire, when I tell you, baby, when I looked up on you, I said, baby, we're gonna talk after this. We gotta talk quickly after the show. So my question to you is, you've gone through so much, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you share some of the things you've gone through? And the reason I want to do that, we have young kids that I mentor,
Mm-hmm.
that they need to see not everything is perfect, that you don't have to be born with a silver spoon. You could go through hell and back. Can you just tell us a bit about your story?
Sure. So, I come from, living in the hood, you know, um, yes, I did get an education, you know, but I also fell victim to my surroundings, and I made decisions that weren't the best decisions. I grew up without my father, um, and I grew up in seeing abuse and experiencing it, at an early age and for a great part of my life. And so I dealt with rejection. I dealt with just a lot of, self-esteem issues, when it came to that, and a lot of mental health. It weighed heavy on my mental health to where I had to get counseling and kind of figure things out. And even being a creative, Miss Jackie, it when you have so much laying on your shoulders, so much weight on your shoulders, you start to question your purpose. You start to question your abilities, of can I even do this? Should I even try? You know, and so I for a great period of time, I went through a period of where I was just depressed. I didn't believe in myself. I didn't think that my education mattered. I didn't think that even when I started a business, I went through some mental health issues to the point where I was like, I'm quitting. You know, I can't do this. And I went through that period. But every time I would try to quit and to stop, God wouldn't allow me to. And trust me, I tried. Like I fought God tooth and nail. No, God, let me just be. I don't want to do this, or whatever. But one thing that I realized that we can't do, no matter what type of depression, no matter what type of mental health issues that I had, um, it I couldn't run from my purpose. And so I wrote a book. My first book was called Behind the Wall of Grace. And I speak about the grace of God on my life. I speak about going through redemption and God restoring me. Um, I spent some time in prison. I did federal time. Um, for 5 years, I was, indicted on federal charges. And that was like the worst for me. I had a child at the time. I had a, education. I had my education then. I was working for the federal government, and I didn't think that my life would ever be the same, right? Ever be the same. And sometimes we can think that, because let me put in this key point. I was in church. I was a worship leader in
Mm.
my church. Um, like I said, I worked for the federal government. I did a lot of things in the community, but what I was brought up out of coming up, having, coming from a family that, you know, sold drugs and um, kingpins, and they did all this different stuff, and you know, I fell victim to it, and I allowed myself to uh, be subjected to that environment, and so um, it landed me in federal prison. And one of the things I told God was that sometimes we try to do right to balance out our wrongs. But
Mm-hmm.
the Bible says that there's a way that seems right unto man, but in the end is death. Meaning that we can think we doing right all day long, or whatever. But if we not, God gonna interrupt what we're doing so that we can fulfill the greater purpose that he has for us. So I was okay with God interrupting my life of what I thought was a good life, um, to get me on the right track. Because ever since then, my life hasn't been the same. And I've been fulfilling a greater purpose that I didn't even, you couldn't have even told me that this would have been the route that I was going. Right. And I remember I remember saying, God, if you just give me another chance, that um, I will give, I will give back. I will never take and live a selfish life, because not only was I selfish to other people, but I was selfish to my own child that I had to leave behind for that amount of time. And so I write this book, Behind the Wall of Grace, because the entire time I was gone, God showed me grace. The experience I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy, but it developed me in mentally into a space that I hadn't been, I hadn't grasped before, And so when I came home, I said, God, what is it that you want me to do? And so I had a book. I always kept a journal. And in that journal, every concept, every idea that he gave me, I wrote it down. And when the time came, he said, now's the time. And I said, okay, God, what you mean now's the time? What am I supposed to do? And he kept giving me this word, empower. And I said, okay, what am I supposed to do with this? Empower, empower. What is it? So I had a cousin that was a graphic designer. And I said, listen, God keeps showing me this word, empower, and I don't know what he wants me to do with it. I said, so here, I'm giving it to you, and whatever you come up with, that's what I'm supposed to do. He came up with it, the logo, the aesthetic, everything about it was in total alignment. And I ran with it. And that's how you know when you're doing something right,
Mm-hmm.
and you're in the right place and you're going down the right path, because everything goes into alignment. And he had me brand this thing, and I branded it because I wasn't just branding a business, I was branding a purpose. And so it was different from me, and it had to look right. Everything about it had to be on point. It had to be A1. And so that's what I did. And when I got done with it, he said, now that's what you go do for other people. And so I took that and I went with it. And so I was blessed to be able to get back into corporate America. And so what I do now, I did for Verizon. And
Mm-hmm.
so he pushed me out of that space, and I stepped out on faith, and now I'm here, you know. So what do I say to people that think that they have humble beginnings, that there's um, so much against them? Fear. Am I really gonna make it? Is this really gonna work? How long is it gonna take? Because I really need some money now. You know what I mean? And so all of those things were going through my head. But he told me that, and somebody said it, he told me that my success was wrapped up in my obedience. And
Oh my God, wait a minute. I got to say this. Miss Presley wrote this. I'm telling you, when things are in alignment, when people are on the same page with you, baby, Miss Presley wrote, obedience is better than sacrifice.
yeah,
And you're
that's it.
talking about obedience. That's what I'm talking about. Alignment. See,
That's
I
it.
love when great minds think alike.
Yes, that's it. It is so important to be obedient, because here's the thing. What you compromise to keep, you end up losing anyway. And with God and his purpose that he has for us, there's no compromise. Job can tell you that story. Peter can tell you that story. David can tell you that story. You cannot compromise. You cannot try to run away. Noah, he built the ark, didn't have any, and that was one of the things that I went on. Noah built this ark, and everybody thought he was crazy until it started raining. I'm gonna be obedient. People can look at me and think that I'm crazy, but when it started raining, blessings, I mean, you know what I mean? Alignment, when things just started falling in place. And I was awarded opportunities that people that had branched out to do what I did, it took them years to get to those places. That was grace, that was favor, because I was being obedient to what he told me to do. And so Miss Presley is right. Obedience is better than sacrifice.
And that's why I want people to understand. Go out and live your dream, because I know for me, I was running away from this whole media thing, working in corporate America, doing what I need to do. Then some things God started putting in my way. So I'm like, here's me, because I think I control everything. I'm gonna keep it real. I think I can. No, I even think I can control God. Okay,
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm trying to bully him and tell him what I need.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, God, you want me to leave this phenomenal job that's paying me good money?
Yeah.
You telling me you want me to leave this? No, I know you crazy. Okay, that's how I talk to him now. I know you crazy. He's like, Jackie. I'm like, no, because now I got to figure out who's gonna help, how, what, where, why, when. He's like, Jackie, when I want you to do something and you do it and you are obedient, don't worry about the what, who, why, when. I'm going to take care of it. And I'm like, that ain't good enough for me, boo. That is not good enough for me. That's how I talk. That ain't good enough for me. I need to see who, what, I need to see them here. So I remember I did something. It reminded me of when the devil tempted Jesus, and he's like, just throw yourself off the mountain and the angels will come and save you. So I remember one time it was raining, and I'm like, okay, if I see a rainbow, I'm going to do it. Girl, I saw the rainbow. And I'm like, if I see another rainbow.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, first of all fun and jokes aside, I was testing him. Because he already gave me the vision. He said, Jackie, you have this personality. Just do it. I gave you a gift, and the gift is your personality. Go out and do it, people. And if you're authentic and you talk about me, because I was nervous. I've never said this before. I was nervous talking about God on my shows, because I'm like, I'm going to turn some people off and I'm going to do this. Yeah. What happened? Everybody that comes on, they started talking about God without me prompting them. And I'm like, okay. He's like, what did I tell you? Didn't I tell you I got you? Uh-huh. So now I walk by faith. Okay, that's what I do. Where I'm telling you, I've seen it where nobody was on my, of course I had my brother and my husband, but all my other friends, and I had a couple of friends, they're like, Jackie, you crazy. You need to go back to corporate America. Some of my 9-to-5ers, I had to cut off. Okay. Yeah. So I'm like, because 9-to-5ers, no disrespect to them, they don't understand the entrepreneurial route. They don't understand the grind that when they take off, we still working, because we're working for a purpose. And then later on in life, while they still working, we can chill. We don't have to go on we don't have to take our Thanksgiving or Christmas on that day. We can have Thanksgiving 5 days before Thanksgiving or Christmas before. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people don't kind of understand. I understand their hustle, but they don't understand mine, because they're like, Jackie, you're working too hard. But I have a purpose. And When you have a passion and you love what you do, it's
Mm-hmm.
not work, because this right here is not work. I love what I do.
Right.
So between this and the cooking show, and and I think we're going to be premiering a show with two of my brothers who I absolutely love, and it's going to be one girl and two dudes, and the name will show up. But my thing is, I'm saying that because I understand what you're saying, because like Noah, Job, and all these out here, people just like, yeah, okay, whatever. You have to have faith more than a mustard seed, because I'm
Yeah.
telling you, this is no joke. And for people who want to go into the entrepreneurial world, it's not easy, but to me, it's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
It's worth it.
Yeah.
So my sister, when you mentioned the branding, and when you were talking about what you went through, I feel you on that. I mean, yes, I didn't serve time, but girl, sometimes I feel like I'm serving time. Sometimes I do. But
Yeah. Yeah.
Miss Presley said, when it starts raining, everyone will try to get on the boat. That is so true.
Yeah.
That is so true. What are the three most misconceptions that people have about branding that you would like to dispel?
Um, one of the misconceptions that people have about branding is that, and I said this, kind of touched on this a little earlier, is that it's just about creating, a logo, you know, then that's my brand. My brand is my logo. No, your brand is actually who you are, So that's one misconception. The other part to branding is, because I do public relations also. And so sometimes people don't understand the difference between public relations, marketing, and branding. All of them are different, and they're similar, but they're different, and they take a different strategy. You have, when it comes to branding, it's not just about posting on social media, a couple of times. It's your personality, the personality of your business. And some people just get it mistaken when they think that, oh, I just post a little bit on social media, and create this, beautiful website, and that's it. No, branding is much more intense than people like to give, give it. So that's another thing. Another thing with branding is, um, and this is probably one of my biggest pet peeves.
You're talking about me right now. Go ahead.
Is when you think about, when you start your business, right, and you say, are you going to be the face of your business, or are you going to just solely focus on this logo appearance? That's, my business. No, your business and your brand, no matter what your logo looks like, and somebody else said it there, it's who you are inside. So you can have the prettiest stuff, right? But if you as an individual don't have, you have to have a business mind. Some people, I'll give you an example. A chef, right? A chef can cook, make all these exquisite meals or whatever, cater, whatever it is. But what is the brand part of that? Yeah, you know them as a chef, but when it comes to the brand part of this chef, is he clean? He or she, are they clean? Do they have, um, the right things in place as far as their operations, even down to, how you respond to emails, your communications. All of that is a part of your branding. People look at, and that's the pet peeve in it, is that people put branding in like this little circle and they keep it there. But that's not it. you know Please don't send, nobody no selfie pics and say that that's your brand. you know Invest. It branding takes an investment, and it actually is the foundation of everything else. We can't be your publicist or your PR or do your marketing if your branding foundation isn't done first. And it takes time. Some people come up with a concept and they get so excited about the concept and they're so ambitious that they jump over the foundation of branding and they jump into the promotional aspect of it and they miss the foundation part and then wonder why later on they have to come back and revisit, foundational principles because they've jumped over, you know what I mean? And so it's like, okay, now you need to look at yourself, because if your personality and who you are is everywhere, then your brand or your business is going to be everywhere. Your operations is going to be everywhere. All because you didn't take the time. You just got so engulfed in, oh, this is a great idea. This is going to make me some money. Let me hurry up and let me throw this website together and this and that. And you miss the whole process of branding. And so you jump over and you go right into promotion and you miss the foundational principles that really sets the tone of how your brand is perceived by people. It's not just about promoting. It's not just about doing social media ads. You have to have a foundation of one of the things, and I'm jumping here, but a scripture comes to mind when the Bible tells us to count the cost. Before we build, we need to count the cost to figure out what it's going to take to build. And that's a part of your branding. Count the cost. Figure out what it's going to take to build this brand. What needs to be in place? What is this? Okay, I need to have a photo shoot done so that my images are pristine and they look right. I need to make sure that my colors are consistent. I can't have a blood shade of red over here, and over here I got a different shade of red over here. There needs to be consistency in your color codes, making sure that that's correct. You also need to make sure that even when you do media opportunities, align yourself with brands that are going to represent you properly. You don't want your image going on this flyer, and this flyer was done on the app on somebody's phone.
Man, I did a speaking engagement, and when I did this last year, I gave them my pictures, and I don't know, I told them I have to have final approval because it's going out there.
Right.
And they were going back and forth with me, and I'm like, well, you know what? I can reimburse you your money back. I have to have final approval. So what I did was also now my social media, because look, I'm gonna keep it real, girl. I was posting everything, my dog, my this, my that, different colors.
Right.
Now my Instagram page looks much better. I have my mood. Listen, y'all. Listen to how sophisticated I am now. Mood board.
Yeah.
So now I'm doing, I love my colors. I'm going to be doing my photo shoot soon and changing some things. My website's being, revamped and everything. And I'm loving, because I think when you looked at, because I'll speak for me, when you looked at my website, you watch my show, but you really don't know what I do.
Yes.
Now my website is showing that, I do my plant-based cook, the subtext, plant-based cooking, I'm ambassador for that. I do the streaming show. And so I don't want to be all over the place because I'm all about female empowerment. So if I'm about female empowerment, mind, body, spirit, food, you have to eat right. So I'm making sure it stays in that realm. I'm a relationship coach. I'm married 32 years. So those are the things that, we want to help other women and just talking. So Miss Presley said, branding is a whole process. And she also said she agrees with you, Miss Stephanie. It's not the promotion. And right. I'm learning because, look, I know my lane. I don't know everything. So sometimes, and what we have to understand, you have to invest in yourself. You can't say, let me just create this, website, just throw it together. It depends on what you're doing. But what I think, Miss Stephanie, what I think really has ruined this whole process, and you can agree or disagree, social media. Because people think they're a social media sensation and, the little selfies and all that stuff. And it's like, marketing has gone out the window. Publicity has gone out the window because you put on a little picture with a little bikini, and all of a sudden you're an influencer. You're an influencer, And I'm like, so I think that has gone out the window. And you may have a brand that, like I have several friends who anyone that pays them, that's on them. They'll work with. I
Right.
am very particular of who I want to do collaborations with, or form some, or be a brand ambassador for. You know what I'm saying? It's just because I want to make sure we're in alignment, our mission statements add up,
Right.
and things like that. Because I had one friend told me what to do, and I probably can get 5,000 followers. I'm like, you know what? That's cute for you, but that's not cute for me.
Right. Listen,
I wasn't thinking about it, but no, I couldn't do it.
Miss Jackie, listen, you touched on something about people, like how social media has really messed it up. People don't focus on strategy. You have to have brand strategy. You even have to have social media strategy. A lot of times when I get pitches, when people send me pitches, and I go and I read what they send me, the first thing I do is I go look at their social media and I Google them, right? And I look at their social media and I say, okay, let me look at the profile. Okay, that's not clear about what they do, because they got all these different, pages tagged, or whatever. And then I go down and I look down the feed and I'm like, I just really don't know what this person does. I don't. Your social media needs to show what you do and who you are. It has to tell a story. There has to even be strategy to how you post on social media. I always tell my clients, let's develop a social calendar, and what you're going to post on what days, so that people have stuff to look forward to. Your fan base have something they know. On Wednesdays, this is happening. On Mondays, they looking forward to this Momentum Monday or whatever it may be. Fridays, they looking, to this. And then, maybe in between those days, maybe you're giving some tips on Tuesday, and maybe you fall into the traditional throwbacks on Thursday. But there has to even be some strategy to your social post. You don't want to be everywhere. Strategy is important, and you can get so much done, and you can stretch yourself way further if you develop a strategy, because otherwise it's like you just walking and you say, okay, well, let's walk this way. Oh no, let's go walk this way. No, what's your strategy? Where are you going? What are you doing? How do you want,
Stop putting my business on social. Stop putting my business on here. You ain't got to tell people how I used to be. Okay. You ain't got to put my business out there like that. Okay.
But that's what's going on now. And I think Miss Presley said it again, is that some people have devalued the importance of having strategy, and they have, and so I think if we got back into the branding basics and the foundational principles when it comes to branding, I believe that many of us can see a difference in how our operations flow and how our brand begins to look, and also the type of clients you attract, because some of us, as entrepreneurs, we do get to pick and choose. But if we're not doing things right, we're not going to have a good pick of the litter,
That's true, because I know, like, ever since I started to restructure, especially my Instagram page, people are now reaching out by my ebook, which is at womenareworthy.net. Shop womenareworthy.net. Plug.
You better plug.
So, look, I'm a walking plug, honey. So I understand now because before I was like selling the book, but I'm like, the ebook, and I'm like, wait a minute. So when I started posting recipes and things like that, or, foods that I've made, I'm starting to see more people, more traction for people going for the book. And that's
Right.
what's letting me like, okay, let me do the cooking show.
Right.
So I so get it. But again, some of us who that's not, because me, I'm the personality. I just give me a mic, throw on the camera. I got this. I can win them over. But because I know I can't do the other stuff, because my thing is those who can't teach. You know what I'm saying? So for
Right.
me, I'm not that. Just give me the. Let me. I already know my lane, and I have no problem saying it. Just give me the mic, put a camera in front of me, and I can cheese it. That
Right.
other stuff, because there's some people that can do everything. I don't want to do everything. I don't want to be stressed out. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I like to be in charge of things. But when I know someone knows what they're doing, I'm hands off. I'm like, you remember that episode of Bill Cosby with Elvin when he did like this? That's me. I'm like, I have to respect you in your lane to know what you're doing, because at the end of the day, you want me to win, because if I win, you win, and that's more clients for you. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And that's what people
Right.
need to understand. But you do have people who are a little hesitant because they spent so much money in marketing, and you're right, because some people say that their marketing and their publicists all in one, and girl, they don't know what they're doing. But
Right.
that's so when you said, the publicity part, the marketing part, the strategy, it's so different. The branding is, you and Miss Angela talked about. People don't understand what it goes into when it comes to a brand, because I am the brand. I am the brand, because I
That's
don't care
right.
if I'm doing my cooking show. I don't care if I'm doing shows with my brothers. I am, and with my brothers, we're the brand. But for
Right.
my own separate entity, I am the brand.
Right.
When people see me, so I'm reading all these other books and all that kind of stuff, branding, not necessarily that, look, Jackie, no, I just want to understand it, because when people come to you and they may say, well, this is what it costs, the first thing most people are like, oh my God. Well, you know what? You get what you pay for.
Right.
You want to go to the next level. You want to be able to, you want to have a seat at the table with the top companies, or the top companies coming to you. And if your stuff
Right.
is not in the right place, they're not coming to you. So I respect what you and Angela, do, because that's what she does as well. I definitely respect that. But I just want people out there who, if you're thinking about getting into, you're getting your stimulus check, and you want to get your business license, and you
That's
want to,
right.
please, okay, let's break it down. Stop with the bootleg business. Get a business license, get a
Hmm.
tax ID. Y'all know who y'all are. Get a tax ID, and then, develop a logo, and make sure. What I did was, Miss Stephanie, when I did my stuff, I ran it through a couple of people, because I may
Hmm.
think it's cute, and it ain't about me, because if y'all
Hmm.
are not looking at it or don't like it, it ain't worth
Right.
it. You know what I'm saying? So that was my pet peeve, because I'm one of those, like, if I like it, I don't care if you don't like it. So it took me a
Hmm.
long time to realize
Right.
the consumer has to buy into it.
Correct.
So I learned that. So I want people to spend the money on branding, spend the money on the website. Don't just go to GoDaddy and create something like bam. Spend the money, because it has to have that, you're right, that aesthetic look, that
Hmm.
feel to it. Because baby, my website was good, but baby, baby, now I just can't wait to release it. And it speaks volumes. And we just have to make sure we're being more professional, because
Right.
when you work for a company and you look at their stuff, your stuff should be on the same level as the Coca-Colas. And I mean, like, the logos and what it looks like on the website and things like
Hmm.
that. Because I've seen some website, girl, made my eyes, I had to go get some glasses because I
Right.
couldn't read the website. It was blurry.
Hmm.
So I respect what you guys are doing. I couldn't do it because, Lord, you got to have some patience, okay?
Yeah, you definitely have to have patience. And Miss Jackie, if I can make another point too, um, when it comes to to branding and just your overall business, how your brand looks needs to match your price point, because you cannot be charging a large value, and then your brand and just how things are overall operations, everything, like your overall brand doesn't match that, and so I think that's why sometimes, people get the how much, kind of thing, because the value of what they're seeing. If you're charging $1,000 a month retainer, but the way that you operate and how your brand looks, the value, there's no balance there, or whatever. And so you want people to take you seriously, and you want people to see the value in your services or whatever it is that your business is. You want people to see the value in that. And so in order for people to see the value in that, it goes back to what you said. Branding is an investment. You have to be willing to make that investment. Stop with the apps on Apple or whatever. Stop doing the apps stuff. That's not branding
And
at
stop
all.
getting pooky and
You
stop
know,
getting pooky down the
yeah.
road.
Like get you a real, graphics designer, professional graphics designer. Get you a real logo, or whatever, that you really took some time and put some thought into, or whatever, not just to say, hey, let me create something so you can push this idea out, but really think things through, and again, if you have to take it back to the foundational principles, then do that, because you'll thank yourself later. If you want to be on that level of the Coca-Colas and the Fortune 500 brands, then you have to invest. It takes money to make money.
It does. And that's what I learned because, well, I knew that because of the world I'm from. I know it takes money to make money. But what I've also learned was I was struggling I loved Women Are Worthy, just loved the name. And then I had to give up and say, Jackie, no, you're the brand. So it needs to be Jacqueline Charles, not Women Are Worthy. So that's going to be changed. That's going to be changing too, because changing meaning.
I see you now.
Because I understand that it's the branding, which I am the brand, so I can go anywhere. I'm the brand, speaking this, that, cooking. I am the brand. Women Are Worthy is a subtext of Jacqueline Charles. Right. It's the company, it's the organization, but I'm the brand. Like you have Oprah, so I get it, and I'm like, okay. When I said the heavens opened up, the doves flew, they were knocking their heads against the wall. But even my husband, because my husband told me for years, because he already had the email address. I mean, the domain, and he's like, Jackie, this is what you need to do. No, Women Are Worthy, and I was fighting it. And then when I realized, well, when people go on the page, I did everything about Women Are Worthy, and there's a little small blip about me when it needs to be the other. Right. I told y'all I'm learning, and what I want people to understand too, you can get branding, but then you also need a publicist to get the branding out, and a lot of people don't understand that. So I can just sit at your knee and listen to you talk all day because I see what you're doing. And I've had people hit me up and they're like, Jackie, we want to do this. Jackie, we want to do that. And I go on their page and I'm like, you only got 2 followers and you trying to hit me up? No, I'm not Boo Boo the Clown. I understand how this works because I'm one of those. If you want to invest my money, I need to see your bank account because I'm ballsy enough to ask. Let me see your bank account. You ain't gonna invest my money. Let me see what your bank account look like. You can cross out your social security number and your bank account number, but I need to see if you want to invest my money. Let me. And that's just been me. If you want to do this with me, let me see what your social media look like. Because if it don't look like, because if you're pushing me or you want to help me, I need to see what yours look like. You know what I'm saying? So I'm impressed with what you're doing and the fact that as women, we're supporting each other. My question to you is, why should women support each other?
Why shouldn't they? Listen, who said, it was Neo. Neo said, we're a force when we together. And that really just sums it up. We are. If we as women realize how much impact we can have collaboratively, we could do so much. We could do so much. If we channel the energy that we spend in not supporting and looking for ways to not support, we could be doing way, way more. Case in point, and this is not women, but this is speaking to the point of impact. When a lot of the social justice things began to happen, nobody cared about who was LGBT, who was Baptist, who was this or whatever, because that didn't matter. What mattered was we were a people,
Mm-hmm.
and we came together as a people. And so much in a short period of time was impacted and changed, right? Just imagine if we as women took that same energy, those same efforts as women to support one another, how much more we could get done by collaborating and by doing good business together and just giving genuine support to one another. I have, I've had women reach out and say, or I would reach out and say, hey, I see you're doing XYZ. How can I help? And the first thing they say is, well, how much you gonna charge me? Listen, no, everything doesn't have to have a ticket attached to it. Yes, we want to make money with our business and this and that, but the moment that we understand the concept of giving, and giving is not just something financial. Giving is giving of your support, giving of your time. It doesn't cost anything to share a post. It doesn't cost anything to go subscribe to someone's page. It doesn't cost anything to support. And so, if we as women could just grasp the whole of what that really means and get a full revelation of that, we could get so much done together. Women are powerful.
You're right, and that's why I
Kamala
try.
Harris is in the White House.
Hey, empower. And what I try to tell people, when I'm talking to women, it's so important because sometimes I'll say, hey, subscribe to, because we have interns we're working with, employees that we're working with, young girls who are watching. And I hear a lot of the young girls tell me when we have our Wednesday meetings, Miss Jackie, you're always reaching out to collaborate with women, but they're not reaching out to collaborate with you. And I'm going to say this publicly. A lot of my interns are asking me, where are the Black women? It's usually white women who want to collaborate. The Black women, it's a struggle. So I have to sit here on Wednesdays and explain this to them.
Yeah.
Like, well, maybe they don't get it yet. Because as you said, here's a perfect example. If we create a group of 5 women, and all of us said, okay, you're January, you're February, you're March, you're April, you're May. January, let's put our time, talents, and money towards you and take you as far as we can take you.
Right.
February, you're up next. So January, you got to dip back into February. And March, January, February, we got to dip into March. Can you, first of all, financially, because at the end of the day, so many women are staying with their significant other because of money, because of financial reasons. They can't leave. And I'm not saying to do this so they can leave, but at least you have an option. So if we all formed a group or something to, because I'm always bringing stuff to my group of wonderful women that I know, and I'm always collaborating. People reach out to me, and I'll reach out to folks, and then it turns out to be kind of iffy because you're like listening and kind of shady stuff. And me, look, I'm allergic to negativity. I break out in hives when it comes to negativity, and I'm an empath. So if the energy is not right, I'm gone. Before you know, you try calling me, you're deleted, blocked, and revoked. That's just me, because I'm all about positivity. I got young girls that are watching me, that I'm mentoring, that are watching my footsteps, that I'm hoping they can see. Because you can't just do everything and not give back. You have, like you said, time, talents, you have to give back. So I'm in Atlanta. I'm all about, hey, let's collaborate. Let's do some stuff together.
Right.
I have connections. You have connections. Let's move and let's make this big, because what I don't like about Atlanta, oh dear God. What I don't like about Atlanta is we don't have women that are, like, if I were to ask you right now, 3 years in a row, who is the top motivational speaker for women 3 years in a row, that when they go, they sell everything out? A lot of people can't name 3 because, or if they were, and I'm not talking about the Kroger stuff, because that's foolishness right there. That Kroger Empower stuff that they do, because they get these housewives on there who I don't understand why they're on there. Yes, I'm saying it because they're not empowering, but I'm just saying that If we were to do this and create a movement and show people, because at the end of the day, it's not about being selfish. The money's going to come regardless. But if we just supported each other, okay, you're branding, Miss Presley's brand, excuse me, a branding person. If someone were to ask me, I'm always giving out contacts, always. But you have some people who are closed fist when it comes to other people. So, I'm just saying that we have so much that we can do in Atlanta, so much more. But that's just me.
Yeah.
I don't want the cancel culture to cancel me, but that's
you know they will quit.
You know what it would have quickness, but so I just love the fact that what you're doing, you're helping brands, you're creating, you're creating a legacy and a destiny for other people, because what you've gone through, 5 years in federal prison, and you're what healed looks like. No one would suspect that. So when you open your mouth and say it, and the only reason I'm repeating it, I want women who are out there who feel like, I can't do this, I'm divorced, my credit is bad, this is bad. They're excuses. Okay. And I can say it because I've been through a lot. There've been excuses. Once you start doing what God wants you to do, just look into your purpose and find your purpose. Once you start stepping up, God will part the girl. I walked on the Red Sea the other day. I'm like, God, you parting all these waters for me. I'm walking on water. I'm moonwalking on the water.
Yes.
It's almost like sometimes he makes it so easy that you're like, that sometimes I be second guessing him, and he's like, "What I tell you about that, Jackie?" And I'm like, "Oh God, maybe if you move to the left," and he's like, "There you go, trying to control me." Because I'm telling you, Stephanie, when I do it myself, I mess it up
every time. Every time.
Oh my God, I got like 7 mentors, right? I've been looking for an African American female mentor. I just had a little something in my eye now. But when I say God has blessed me with phenomenal mentors that want me to win, one of my mentors, PCT Cleaning, he and his wife, when I said they want me to win, he's like, not just financially that they help, it's just amazing that there's so many good people out there that all you have to do is speak it and God brings them to you. Because sometimes I'm like, and then he makes me, and his wife makes me want to give more, not just more of myself, my time. It's phenomenal. It's like, I want to cry sometimes because I'm like, God, look what you done did. And he's like,
listen,
so
to that, because we know that it's hard for us, as women to support each other. Sometimes when God does send that help, sometimes we can dismiss that help because traditionally, that's not the norm. You know what I mean? Sad to say. And so when he does send some help, some true, God sent help, sometimes we don't always know how to embrace it. And that was one of the issues I had, was embracing, knowing it's kind of like, and I can't remember the full story, but remember it was the person in the Bible, and they said, God, well, where were you? And God said, well, I sent so and so,
yes,
and then I sent so and so. You know what I mean? And I'm sorry, can't remember the whole story, but
Angela, if she's still on, she'll say, or Lene knows it, because Lene knows all the majority of the scriptures. But you're right, he was sending help, but they weren't looking for help. They were looking for Jesus. They were looking for God.
We want a certain kind of, we're looking at it different, and we're not looking at it from the spiritual eye. And so when God does send that help, sometimes I would dismiss it. And and I'd be like, well, God, I prayed, for such and such and such. And he was like, but I sent you help, Stephanie.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So we have to, and that's a part of just having the proper discernment to know who's God sent, and who's not. And so I have a habit now of when people do come into my space and say, hey, I want to support you, or hey, let's collaborate, or hey, how can I do such and such and such? I take them straight to God and say, God, now did you send them? And if so, what is the purpose of this relationship? And if so, Lord, give me the wisdom to know how to cultivate,
Mm-hmm.
that relationship so that I don't push that person away. Because we can be doing ourselves an injustice, because remember now, when he gives us vision, he also gives us provision. And
Mm-hmm.
so um sometimes we can push that provision away, if we're not operating in the proper discernment. So to your point, about, just having that help, and knowing, that there are really some genuine people out there who really want to see you win.
Wait, let me put this out there, because when I say God has given me sisters of Christ, because this lady just came on and she gonna make my eyelash fall off, because every time she come on my doggone show, I gotta shed a tear, and I'm sick and tired of crying the last 4 shows. But Lene is like an angel for me. Now, one of the things is she checks me when I need to be checked. Okay, she will put me in my place in a nice way. Like, Jackie, you're doing team too much, you're being too extra, without saying it like that. But I know what
Uh-huh.
she means. And when I'm talking to her and she's silent, I know that means like, oh, Jackie, that's not good. But when I say this woman has been there for me, praying for me, financially, spiritually, mentally, lifting me up. We talk marriage. So I said it wrong when I said I've been looking for black mentors, black female mentors. She is one of my mentors. So I have to put her in that category, not just leaving her as a girlfriend or a sister. She is just her and Latanya. When I say, because we moved to Georgia, we had nobody in Georgia. Okay, just me and my husband and then my daughter. That was it. And then I'm like, oh, so when I came down here and I'm like, oh, what's wrong with these women down here? They crazy.
Uh-huh.
Crazy. So me being like all in your face from New York, all in your face and stuff. And it takes a minute for you to get used to me. I'm one of those
Yeah.
girls, either you love me or you hate me. Ain't no in between. So either you love
Uh-huh.
Jackie, you hate her. And she introduced me to prayer line. She brought me closer to God. So what I do, what you said is, people will come to me and say, I want to do this, I want to do that. I'll say to them, go pray on it. Girl, you know how many people don't come back because I said go pray on it? And I said, that's good, because they're probably like, what you mean? And there's people who've come to me with finances who like, I want to help. And I'm like, go pray on it. And then I'm praying on it too. I've had guests who, I want to be on your show. And because of some things, checking their website and, social media, I'm like, go pray on it. Girl, they don't show up. Or if I'm praying on it and I'm like, you know what? Maybe we can do the second go around, but not the first go around. Because it's not everybody shares this platform, because I want to make sure we're in alignment. And it doesn't necessarily have to mean whether you believe in God, because sometimes it takes people a while to get there. But
Mhm.
I just want people to understand, I created this platform where women can share their stories. And now we have men who are sharing their stories. I
Mhm.
always say we're in the same book, just different chapters. Women who've gone through horrific things in their life. But how did they get from hell and back? But how did they stay there? We're constantly looking at women who, okay, you're a CEO, you're a CFO. How did you get there? For me, that's not the story. The story is, how did you stay there? Because
Yeah.
there, that's the problem.
Right.
Not the problem. That's the issue, the concern, because you may have the crabs in a barrel mentality. You may have to, one of the questions I want to ask is, what do you do for self-care? Because self-care is so important for Women Are Worthy. What do you do for self-care, Miss Stephanie?
Listen, I definitely take the time to pour into me, because if I'm no good, I'm no good to others. And so have, I take a day throughout the week. Most of the times it's on Wednesday, and that's my Stephanie is Worthy Wednesday. I take
Did you say worthy? Did I hear you say worthy? Yes, Ugawa.
yes. So I take time from beginning to end. After I take my son to school, I go and I have breakfast with myself. I totally cut off social. I spend time meditating. Just listening to, because I'm very particular about what goes into my ear gates, and so I'm listening to music and just, inspirational stuff. And I like, um, everybody loves retail therapy, but I go get a massage. I go and I get my feet done. That's the day that I get my nails done. You know, um, I may buy a new book, to read. But I pour into me, and not just self care as in let me go do these things and this makes me feel better. No, it's about making sure that throughout the week I'm in tune spiritually, because people can drain you, people can drain you, and I work with a lot of people, and so it can drain you, and so I need my spiritual, the spiritual part of me to be built up so that my discernment can be on point, so that I can be wise in my dealings, and not be distracted, because the enemy will bring distractions to keep us
Mhm.
from fulfilling and continuing maintaining our purpose. So those are the things that I do. I just pour into myself spiritually, mentally, emotionally, um, and I'm very, one thing I mentioned is that I'm particular about what goes into my ear gate. Um, I don't allow myself to listen to any type of negativity, nothing like from the news or anything. I don't listen to it. I don't, let that come into my space, because I always like to have good vibes and good energy, within myself. And so that helps me. That helps me every week. And then, from time to time, I'll go on a trip and just no business, no
Mhm.
nothing, no clients, no nothing. It's just me enjoying life and just having a good time and, just being free.
Well, can you please tell others how to get in contact with you? Because I think you're a phenomenal person, and not
Thank
just a phenomenal person. Your business savvy is your game is on point. Okay.
I appreciate that.
So, how can, for those who are listening, how can they get in contact with you should they need a publicist, a branding specialist, anyone from A through Z to service their company, their organization, and themselves? How can they get in contact with you?
You can always reach me on social media. I am the right step. So that's IMTHE. Uh, what I'm spelling it wrong.
Right.
IMTHERIGHT step STEP. You can also email me at any time at info at the empower, that's EMPOWER media.com. You can reach me there.
Info at the power, info at power.
Info at the empower media .com. You can always email me there. You can reach my office directly at 770-580-0532. And those are ways that you can connect with me. I'm not, some people don't like DMs, but if that's your way of connecting, we can always initiate communication there as well. Um, and then you can just follow me, at Stephanie M. Davis on Facebook, or uh, my website is also theempowermedia.com. So you can reach out to me there as well.
Okay. When we edit it, we're going to put all of that in. I put it on the side notes, but we're going to edit it and put that up there as well. Well, you've just been a phenomenal guest. We want to thank you, but you're not a guest; you're a part of the family now. We want to thank you for supporting and just doing the awesome things that you're doing. And ladies and gentlemen, please, 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 if you're starting a business, don't do the bootleg version. Don't. I remember I was talking to a youngin. Anyone who's younger than 30, I call them youngin.
Oh, my young.
She was telling me that she was telling me, and anyone who's older than that, I call seasoned. Not,
Yeah.
and when I hear people call themselves senior citizen, you're not a senior citizen, you're a seasoned
Season. Yeah. Yep.
citizen. So they said, well, someone told them that for $150 they can get stuff copywritten, and I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, I can get it, trademarked. And I said, what kind of company? And I'm hearing that's a trend out that these younger kids,
Yeah.
that's what they're doing. They're paying someone to do this who I don't know. Get your business license. I mean, now is the right time. Everyone should, if you have a 9 to 5, think of, start making money from your passion, So, but again, you've just been so awesome. We want to thank everyone for tuning into the Women Are Worthy show. Again, if you want to join our tribe, you must subscribe. That's what we're all about. Our subscribe, where we want you to subscribe is to our YouTube channel. It's the Women Are Worthy Network on YouTube. We're going to be doing some phenomenal shows. I'm going to be releasing a lot of things this year. I'm just so blessed and so happy. My two brothers finally, after I done choked, no, no, listen, no, I didn't mean choke. I meant talk to them, and we're do a family show. It's gonna be juicy, y'all, and it's basically about dynamics that happen within the family. We're gonna be talking about social justice and things that are going on in the community, things that are going on in the world. Ti and Tiny, Ti and Tiny. We're gonna be talking about things like that, So just things that's going on in the world today, So it's gonna be coming from different perspective. I'm gonna be the oldest. I'm the oldest of my first it's me, my other brother, the last 3 kids. So we all
Gotcha.
come together to do it. So it's going to be, oh Lord, I don't know if I'm be able to. Oh, these brothers of mine, but yeah. And then the cooking show is coming, and I'll keep you guys posted, ladies posted when it's coming. So we want your support. For those who don't know, like how to eat plant based and stuff, I got you. I got you. And you don't have to go out and spend $900. It's going to be balling on a budget. Okay. That's
Listen, I have been watching you do that, and I know you probably have seen some of my comments, or whatever, because it's really been an inspiration and a blessing to me because I'm transitioning myself. But I want to say this real quick, Miss Jackie. Shout out to you, and I know everyone can agree for the platform that you have and that you have created and that you extend to people like myself. Because it's important. It goes back to just supporting, what everyone does. But I love what you do. Phenomenal job. I love your vibe and personality. It's almost like I could feel you through our communications prior to now. So I appreciate you being that way. I appreciate you having me on. It's definitely an honor and a blessing. And I'm going to continue to watch. So y'all to
no, and I'm
continue.
going to tell you something.
Women are
You're
worthy.
gonna keep coming back on the show. This is not a one-time deal. And also, y'all go on my the womenareworthy.net page. We have our mugs. Look, I know about branding. I know about my stuff. Go get out one of the mugs out there. But what we're doing as well is we want to show people that you have to, because I'm always talking it, and God said, Jackie, you got to stop talking it. You got to do it.
Right.
So I'm like, what you talking about? People know. He's like, no. Bring people on the show. Show them so people can see this is a true collaboration. Someone coming on your show. Don't worry about like, okay, give your social media pages. I was never one like that anyway, because I've gone on shows where they won't let me, so now I'm savvy. If I can't talk about my social media handles or my website, I'm not coming on your show, because I do it at the end of the day. It's how I make my money. You know what I'm saying? So I want people to know that we have to support each other. And I'm not going to stop until I get a group of women where we come together, we form 5 or 10, we push that first person up, then the second and the third. And once you break bread, because that's where most stresses are for people, money. And some people don't know how to run their business. And this is just a platform, again, where we just come together, we have fun, we talk about some real issues. And you mentioned mental issues, and I suffer from anxiety, and so I understand. But you, baby, we giving you your roses now, because I don't know how you do it, because I'm trying to stay on roller skates to get to your behind. Okay, you and Angela Presley chick there, girl. She too much for me. I can't keep up with her. I got to get her assistant before I can get to her. Okay, but I just love what you guys are doing. And I've had people reach out to me and say, "Oh, it's a black show." It's not a black show. I happen to be a black woman who have a show, because we're all about diversity,
Right.
and If you check my social media, you see the guests. I'm just all about love. If you love and you positive, come on board. If you're trying to get positive, come on board. But that negative, I don't deal with negative Nellies. I only deal with positive Pollies. Okay, that's it.
That's right.
So without further ado, we want to thank everyone for tuning into the Women Are Worthy show. It's Monday. Tune in tomorrow. We're going to have a special guest Wednesday this whole week. Thursday, we're going to have Coffee Anderson. He's an African-American country singer. Baby, he can sing, he can sing, he can sing. So it's going to be a great show. And that show is going to be on Instagram. On our page, we'll show you where the shows are going to be when you go on the Instagram page, because we have like a TV guide of what we're doing. So everyone, please be safe, mask, sanitize, social distancing, and prayer, honey, and prayer. So without further ado, we want to thank everyone for tuning in. See you tomorrow night. Bye. Be blessed.
Bye. Thanks for having me.